Yeah, and we'll be talking a little bit more about that game later on in the show. But let's have a look at the results so far for week 1 of the NRL and then also some NRLW action. Freddie, talk us through it.
Well, the two heavyweights both had 26-point margins. I'm not sure what was more impressive, the 0 to the Storm or the 32 for the Panthers. And the Roosters, Sam Walker, gave them an extended week and a trip to Melbourne to take on the Storm in the semi-final next week. And in the NRLW, Emma Tonegata was just too classy. Led the Sharks to a 16-8 win over the Dragons. The Broncos fought back again and beat the West Tigers, and the Knights go to the top of the table, 20 points to 4. Tamika Upton, 2 tries, too good.
Billy, this road to the finals, it's starting to set itself in place.
Yeah, that's the finals tree, and we've got the Panthers and the Broncos progressing directly to the preliminary final, so they'll get the week off this week. The Warriors and the Storm, they lose that qualifying final, so they'll play this week. The Warriors still yet to determine who they play between the winner of the Knights and the Raiders and the Storm and the Roosters. Looks like they're going to play early next week. So we'll have 6 teams by the end of this afternoon. And what a whopping game it's going to be this afternoon.
Yeah. Well, let's get into last night's game between
Whopping. Good word.
Like a whopper.
Where did that come from?
Last night's game between the Roosters and the Sharks. The Roosters kept their finals hopes alive with a narrow victory. Sharks, it means their season is over. Freddie, I wanted to get your opinion on this one. In terms of Roosters wins, you've seen a lot of them. How highly do you rate this one, considering what happened? They lost Joey Manu, they lost Swali'i, James Tedesco spent 10 minutes in the sin bin.
Yeah, one of the gutsiest. And considering the Roosters are going through a bit of a change of players at the moment, Billy highlighted Siwa Wong, and just those players standing up, Egan Butcher, or the Butcher brothers, young Ponga on the wing. You know, there's a new generation coming through, and to win a game like that at Shark Park, I thought was a great sign. I do think Cronulla, though, really lost the back 10 minutes. They missed a couple of field goal opportunities. They had 2 front rowers tackled with the ball on last tackle near the Roosters line. But, that's the Roosters staying in the game, applying pressure. And, Sam Walker, I think the coach needs a pat on the back here. He made some big decisions during the year. I reckon some of those decisions are paying him off at the moment.
Well, whenever you win games of footy, especially big games like semi-finals, usually through brilliant attack, great defence is the majority of them, but occasionally you get victories like this through character, and this was a character win. They had 2 of their star outside backs go off the field, Suali'i and Joey Manu. Their captain and fullback, he was in the sin bin for 10 minutes. They had 2 forwards playing on the edge in the centre position. They had a halfback playing at fullback, and there was a couple of big plays right at the end of the game. We just saw them there. James Tedesco's charged down for the first attempt of field goal from Nicho Hynes, and then Luke Cleary. So the senior men stood up when it counted, but it was just a character-building victory. And I thought, look, they weren't perfect, but if you want something in your team, it's that ticker.
That's what Trent Robinson said after the game. He said it was the spirit that they played that he was so impressed with. Sam Walker, what did you make of his performance there? There was a bit of a nervous moment as well. Well, he may have a bit to answer for with the match review committee, but also hit his knee at one point too.
In the same tackle, we all know he's got that stretched ACL. That was a high shot. Hopefully he doesn't get suspended for it. It doesn't miss him. It's him right around the lugs. But yeah, in that tackle, he was hobbling for a while on that knee. But in the end, he laid on tries, he kicked the field goal. He's got a great future. But I've got to say, big off-season for the Sharks. They need maybe a mini rebuild in certain positions.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
What positions in particular?
Well, they're missing an X-factor player. And they've gone out in straight sets the last 2 years. They haven't got that player like a Kalen or a Munster or a Reece Walsh who just takes the team to the next level.
Where do you get them?
I don't know.
Supermarket?
Show me that bag.
Aldi. They got the cheap ones. Aldi.
Aldi.
Sometimes you've got to accept,
Benny's.
though, that, you know what,
Benny's.
things take time.
Yeah.
Only one team wins a comp. It's just that they don't go backwards in this stage. That's the key.
Well, this week, our Manshake Gutsiest Player of the Week award goes to none other than Nathan Cleary. He had an absolutely blinding performance yesterday afternoon against the Warriors, guiding his side to a 32-6 win to give the Penrith Panthers, the all-important week off, which is pretty beneficial to them as well, considering Jerome Luai is coming back from injury. What did you make of Nathan Cleary's performance yesterday?
Too good. Took advantage of a team that was under strength, like an under strength of crucial players, but just applied pressure the entire game. Come up with some lovely passes. You can see he actually played Jerome's role there. He's coming from left to right a lot, but I thought he had a lot of help. They just don't make mistakes. At one stage, they were like, I think at half-time, 89% completions, and everything about what they do is quality. Crichton comes up with some beautiful passes under pressure. So across the park, he had a lot of help, but he is the general.
Well, they just don't beat themselves, do they? You know, they play a game that don't beat themselves. And I just thought Nathan took the responsibility of the result. He owned the result. He took the responsibility of the team. He said, this is on me. I'm going to go out there. I'll shirk that responsibility and I'll go after the game. You've got to go after your game if you're going to beat the Panthers. And the Broncos, obviously, that's the other team that are sitting at the top. If they play the Panthers in the next couple of weeks, well, in the grand final, if they get there, they've got to go after their game. They can't afford to be sitting on their heels and waiting for the Panthers to make a mistake. They've got to go after it.
This year, Nathan's running game has gone to another level. He's running the ball a lot more. He's picking his times better, when to run and where to run. He's just a champion, absolute champion.
Well, Bill, you mentioned the Broncos. They had a great win over the Melbourne Storm on Friday night at Suncorp Stadium, handing themselves that all-important week off as well. What did you make of not only the Broncos' performance, but also your team, Melbourne?
I think they've got an air of arrogance about them, which you need. You need that confidence, and they've got that little bit of arrogance about them now. They know they're a good team, and they believe they're one of the best teams, if not the best team in the competition. They kept the Melbourne Storm to 0. Well, they've got Cameron Munster, Jerome Hughes, Harry Grant, Ron Pappenhausen was in the game. That's a great defensive display. And then they've got this brilliance in Reece Walsh. He just created opportunities. Herbie Farnworth and Katoni Staggs scored a brilliant try out wide.
Their front rowers killed it. Haas and Flegler.
They make you miss.
That's where they won.
57 tackle breaks. So they made the Melbourne Storm, and you're seeing a few here. They made the Melbourne Storm miss 57 tackles. You know, that's individual brilliance and ability. You look at it there. There's 3 there.
Will Olam come back in?
Yeah, that's.
Has
I'm not too sure. You got Remus Smith, Justin Olam. A few changes might be forced. You know, obviously Ryan Pappenhausen. It was a dreadful injury to see Ryan Pappenhausen go down, and I think we all felt for Paps. I actually spoke to him this morning, and it's great to see that he's in good spirits. And it's not great news, but it could have been worse. So hopefully he'll be back on his feet in the new year and may even be available for round 1.
Munster was poor.
Xavier Coates is injured as well.
Yeah.
So.
I just thought Munster could not find his way into the game.
How do they turn it around? Because
they'll turn it around.
That's it. They're final specialists, Melbourne Storm. What do they do this week? What unfolds?
Well, Billy'd probably know more. He's been in the system there for 20 years.
They've got to find their attack. They didn't score any points. You've got to score points in this game. Your defence is important, but you've got to score points, and they didn't look like they were threatening the defensive line enough.
I think he's got to challenge his middle forwards. Brisbane's middle forwards, obviously Haas and Flegler, are pretty special players. They blew them away. So I think the middle forwards need to pick their act up, and Munster, it's probably as quiet as I've seen Munster play for a long, long, long time. But they'll bounce back next week. And they get the Roosters with a heap of injuries. It's going to be hard to beat down there.
Yeah.
With the finals around the corner, NRL on 9 has you covered.
From match highlights, press conferences, don't forget, Freddie in the 8.
Of course.
NRL on 9 has you covered for everything. One-stop shop.
Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a moment.